What's going on, everybody? It's your boy E-Man the Chosen here, and I'm back today with another video. So in today's video, I'm going to be going over the tank meta, or the reason why people believe there's a tank meta going on in ESO PVP. So if you guys haven't already, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, as that really helps me out. But without further ado, let's get straight into it. So in ESO PVP right now, there's a lot of people building to be a little bit more durable. Either they're running a little bit higher resistances or they're running a little bit higher max health. So it used to be the average health in PvP used to be around 28 to 32k health. But now people are building for at least 35 or even 40k health. There's a lot of people running around with 40k health, believe it or not. And a lot of that reason is because of some of the classes, like for instance, the Warden and the Arcanist. They have certain skills that, you know, rely on max health. So, I mean, in that case, I understand, but even other classes are, you know, starting to build that tanky. So there's a few reasons why people are building their characters this way now. And the first reason I want to talk about is because of damage. Yes, damage is extremely high this patch, especially with all the proc sets going around. You have snipers, you have gankers, you have crit builds, you have dot builds. Like, there is a lot of damage, and you know, you can really die super quick, you know, like quicker than any time before. Like, it's insane how fast you can die, you know, right now. Like, especially if you're on a class that doesn't have a lot of counterplay for a lot of the damage. Counterplay as in your class lacks, like, you don't have a heal, like you don't have a burst heal, you don't have a cleanse, you don't have a lot of defense on your class, you don't have mobility, you don't have access to streak, you don't have access to a cloak or a teleport. So you're kind of forced to have to deal. You don't really have a counterplay for the dots. And that kind of brings me to my next reason why there's a tank meta, and it's because of ball groups and zergs. That's right. So there's a lot of people playing in ball groups and a lot of people playing in zergs, and it's those same people who play in zergs. They run a lot of cheesy builds and they run full damage builds because the group has a healer, they have a tank. I mean, that's pretty much how it works in any game. You have a, you know, DPS, heal, and tank. I just find it ironic that the people who complain about the tank meta are the same people who, you know, will zerg somebody down or outnumber somebody, you know, with the cheese on, and then they'll bag them and, you know, group teabag somebody. And then I'm sure for any, like, whoever's receiving end, I'm sure that's not a good experience for anybody to be on the receiving end of that. So a lot of times it'll force somebody to build more tanky, even if that means giving up all their damage. At the end of the day, everybody has their own reason on why they choose the way they play. You know, like, there's people who get a kick out of ganking people, there's people who get a kick out of sniping, there's people who get a kick out of zerging somebody down and group teabagging them. Like, I mean, that's just what they like, you know? I mean, they could easily have something going on in their life. They may not have something going on in their life. It's just how they are, just how they like to play. Now, I don't knock anybody's way of playing. Like, people spend their own money, spend their own time, so they can play however they want to. But at the end of the day, when it comes to the ESO PVP community, it is actually very, very competitive. And, you know, the true nature of competition is not fair. Like, when it comes to winning, there's only a handful of people who like to win like the fair way or like the noble way. But most people, when it comes to winning, will try to win by any means necessary. Even if it means cheating, even if it means abusing cheesy sets, even if it means, you know, finding exploits and abusing them, even if it means outnumbering somebody, like, you know, doing unfair fights where they have an unfair advantage. People will do anything to win. You know, I can't knock it. I mean, people, that's just how people are. It's just human nature. So most people don't like dying in this game. So if you don't really have a lot of counterplay to a lot of the cheese that goes on in the game and a lot of the, like, the outnumbering and zerging, then you're kind of forced to build tankier. Otherwise, you're just going to get rolled over every time somebody jumps on you. And there are two abilities and two sets that, or two arena weapons that are pretty much standing out. I mean, if you've died at all in Cyrodiil in the past 30 days, you've probably seen this on your death recap at some point. And the two abilities are Rhythmic Slashes and Elemental Suspectability. And the two sets that take these two skills over the top are going to be the Master's Dual Wield and the Batterstrand Ice Staff. The craziest part about both of these sets and abilities is that pretty much every class it's pretty much best to slot on every class. Like every class is using one or two of these abilities or sets. And when you have something like that, it makes the game very, very stale. Like there's not a lot of counterplay for these things. Like it's the best to slot, as in there's not a lot of other viable options. So everybody's using it, and you have to build tanky to survive it. If your class isn't tanky, you're probably wearing a tank set, or or if your class doesn't have damage, you're more than likely using these sets. So it makes this crazy stale meta to where you're kind of forced to run these things if you want to have a good experience or if you want to have success, And now, don't get me wrong, I don't feel like they should nerf these sets, because at the end of the day, you do still have to grind for these sets. You have to grind transmutes to get the right traits. You have to invest your time, invest your money, to get some of these sets. So I don't feel like they should go the route of nerfing the sets. I just feel like they should buff other sets or buff other classes' skill lines. That way people have more counterplay or more option, to some of these sets, like. Now, I know I main Sork, so I know sometimes like my opinion can be very biased, but I mean, imagine giving us a reliable burst heal outside of Dark Deal or outside of a pet that doesn't require us having to use a 2H. That way we're not forced to have to run, super tanky sets in order to survive, what's going on. Or give something like a Necro more damage. That way they don't have to abuse like the cheese in order to kill people, Like I said, this is just my opinion. Now, I'm no game developer, and I can only imagine how hard it is to balance like a class, but also still make the class fit the class's identity as far as what they wanted to portray. I'm also curious about what you guys think they should do as far as fixing the stale meta that we're in right now. Yeah, so make sure you guys leave a comment. But anyways, that's enough of my rant. Also want to thank you guys for liking and subbing to my channel. We finally reached 2K subs, so it's like a huge milestone for me. So I'm definitely going to keep doing my best to bring you guys quality content, quality live streams. I plan on live streaming at least 3 times a week, so that's every other day. Sometimes I may do more, but I think 3 times a week is a realistic goal for me. Also want to give a special shout out to Mighty Mumble, King of Games, OK, and Epic Butt Kicker. You guys have shouted me out on your channels and streams multiple times, and I really do appreciate that. There's also a handful of other people who have shared my videos to others, and I also appreciate you too, even if I don't know your name. But yeah, if you guys like content like this, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.